In the 1950s, engineers began research on a monumental endeavor that created an airplane ahead of its time. That airplane was Concorde. Supersonic flight research began with British aeronautical engineer Maurice Morgan and Robert Vardneau from France. Both men worked tirelessly to unlock the puzzles of supersonic commercial flight. Along with Dietrich Kuschmann, a German aerodynamicist, they believed that 150 passengers could be carried across the North Atlantic at a modest Mach 1.2 to a blistering Mach 2.2. Different designs of supersonic aircraft have been tried before, but none have been successful flying safely as much as Concorde. The extra-large SST built by Boeing was not designed well enough for flight, along with a growing political agenda that preceded Concorde's first flight tests spelled an end to the American investment into supersonic transport. The Oklahoma City sonic boom tests were a controversial experiment that saw the FAA test the effects of supersonic travel over populated terrain. A test that was excessive from the start used military aircraft to simulate sonic booms at a pace at 8 booms a day. Oddly enough, the communities seemed unaffected by the booms save for a few broken windows and plaster. Nonetheless, the community did not like the handling of the test by the FAA, and a small group of city members sued for damages that led to an eventual uproar against supersonic aircraft. In Russia, the Concorde could not remain in the air due to design and operational use flaws of the aircraft during the late 1970s. The trip for Concorde to succeed was not an easy one. Concorde began scheduled flights in 1976 and began flights to the U.S. in 1977 once the flight restriction ban was lifted. Once Concorde began its stride into the history books, it broke records that still stand 11 years later after its retirement. It was able to fly from New York's JFK to London Heathrow in 2 hours, 52 minutes from takeoff to touchdown, aided by a 175 miles per hour tailwind, coining the term landing an hour before you take off.
She's a great airplane to fly from a pilot's perspective, and a fantastic airplane from a customer's point of view. I mean, nothing else offers you the opportunity to buy back time, to travel faster than the Earth rotates, to literally arrive before you leave.
In 1992 it circled the world in 32 hours and 49 minutes. By the end of 1999 it had totaled 920,000 hours in flight time, with 600,000 being supersonic. Another distinctive quality about Concorde wasn't only its need for speed, but for the intricate design and elegance we haven't seen since its retirement in 2003. Its angled droop nose to help the pilot see during its very high angle of attack during takeoffs and landings.
It seems to be much more pitched up than 11 degrees, but that's all it is. And then of course you touch down gently on the runway, reverse thrust, another roar from the engines, and you come to a stop.
And 4 Rolls-Royce afterburning turbojet engines that allowed Concorde to break the speed of sound. Socio-economical pressures, 9/11, and the one fatal crash of Concorde in France spelled the end for the aircraft. Much of the aircraft had to be bought by the British and French governments to turn a profit. However, the aircraft had to be put out of service after the refusal to continue maintenance on the aircraft by its manufacturer Airbus. Aircraft designers began to turn away from speed and begin to look at larger subsonic transport planes that have yielded the Boeing 777 and the Airbus A380. Though humankind has, in this author's opinion, have taken a step back in technology, we have seen the potential of man's imagination to not only soar above the earth, but to soar with speed, safety, and elegance. You will be missed, Concorde.
Already Heathrow, runway 27 right is a long way behind us. We are climbing towards that ceiling of 58,000 feet and what Concorde is all about, supersonic flight. Already at this point we are some 100 miles an hour faster than the more conventional commercial airliners, the 747s and the DC-10s. We've had a little bit of air turbulence, but the most amazing thing about this quite unique craft is the way in which he powers straight up. And any second now, John Hutchinson will be taking us through the sound barrier.
I'm going to open up the throttles fully. Once the engines have all stabilised, Bill Brown will select the reheats in pairs. First of all, the inboards. There they are, just cutting in. We're going to take a timing on that. And the outboards, please, Bill. And we're now climbing and accelerating with the reheats on. And very shortly, we're going to go through the sound barrier. And really, the only visible sign of it up here on the flight deck is a slight fluctuation of one of the pressure instruments, the rate of climb and descent indicator. And we'll see that doing a little blip up and down the scale of the instrument as the shockwave attaches. We're just hanging just under Mach 1, just for 20 seconds or so. We're just about to go through the sound barrier. There's the shockwave attaching right now. And we're supersonic. No fuss, no drama, lovely smooth ride straight through the sound barrier.
Speedbird 2 Heavy, be advised, I happen to have the good luck of being here and issuing the first landing clearance to the Concorde here at JFK back in '77. Just want to say it's been wonderful working with your aircraft, and I wish good luck to all the crews, and we're going to miss you.
Well, we're very, very grateful indeed for all your help, especially over such a long period. It's been great knowing you, and we're going to miss you a lot.
Thank you. The time now is 3:05. Your discretion. You can roll to find your liftoff at 3:07. Wind 300 at 13. Maintain 4,000. Cleared for takeoff.
Here at Concorde 2, clear takeoff 31 left. We're clear to roll to meet our departure time. We'll start the takeoff roll at 37 and 50 and maintain 4,000.
Background American 699 Heavy.
Yes, sir.
Is there a chance we can hold here at Bravo or anywhere in this area if we're not blocking anybody?
American 699, why don't you transition over to Alpha, and then you can hold on Alpha, and do you need any assistance?
Negative. Hey, ground, can we, American 59 Heavy, can we hold here for a second, troubleshoot something?
Yep.
Thanks. And Ground United, 3 Heavy, we're ready to go down.
United 3, taxi left Juliet, hold short of Zulu.
Left Juliet, hold short of Zulu, that's you.
Speedbird 2 Heavy, contact New York departure. So long.
Speedbird 2 to departure. Good day, Samuel. So long.